All right, everyone. Welcome, Dr. Anthony Criniti IV here, also known as Dr. Finance. You're on a Dr. Finance Live podcast special Mastermind Retreat Edition. We have another amazing attendee here. We have Rosemary Beatrice Montoya. Am I saying your name right, Rosemary? How do you say your name?
Rosemary Beatrice Montoya. You did say it right.
Thank you, Beach. Thanks, Beach. Thank you, Rosemary. I appreciate that.
And I use my middle name too because it's my grandma's. It was
Okay.
my grandma's name, and it makes me feel close to her.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Well, we got Rosemary here, folks. If you haven't already, definitely check out the podcast, the original podcast, and also the website, drfinance.info. But today we're going to interview Rosemary. We're going to find out some information about her experiences at the retreat. So what was your experiences like at this incredible mastermind retreat, Rosemary, we had in beautiful Paradise Valley, Arizona with Preston Weeks last month in early March 2023? So we have Mark Victor Hansen here, Sharon Lecter. I know you weren't able to stay for most of it, but from the little bit that you were there, what was your take on it?
Yeah, I was able to meet Mark Victor Hansen and all of the attendees. And I thought it was an amazing experience, and I was so grateful and blessed to be there. And meeting you and even everybody else there, everyone was just pure positive energy and high vibrational. And this was the very first time that I was able to leave my comfort zone and be around people with no mask. So it was a big thing for me too, and it got me out of my comfort zone. And I've just been, I have been being mask free and so much more. It was time for me to be around other people, and I miss people. I would, you know what I mean? Because I'm a writer and I do freelance and I work from home. So besides my family, I haven't been around anybody. And so being around you all, meeting you and just seeing, and people I already knew from Clubhouse, and then meeting them in person, it was so amazing. And it was even better. Meeting them in person was definitely a different experience and even better than talking to them on Clubhouse. And it was just, and Mark Victor Hansen had so much, and his wife had so much wonderful advice and wisdom and love to share. And they were both funny and just down to earth. And I just had a blast. I really did have a great time. And I'm very happy that I attended.
Thank you, Rosemary. Rosemary, if we could step back for a moment, I just want to learn a little bit more about yourself, maybe 20, 30 seconds, if you want to tell us about yourself and maybe your book as well. You have a nice book out there.
Sure. My name is Rosemary. And when I was 18 years old, I was in a really bad car accident, and I flew into a car lane 30 feet from my car, airlifted in a coma for about 3 days. And I woke up with the mindset of an average 5-year-old. That was 22 years ago. And I did die for 2.5 minutes in one of my surgeries, which that's another story, but everything has led me to today. And today I am doing amazing and wonderful. And if anything, I feel like my brain is I was going to say a master brain, but it's a super brain in so many ways, because I was so effed up for so long. And then now I do feel like it's a super brain in so many ways, and a lot of wisdom and knowledge I've gained through my life experience and living through a lot of torment. And I love to help people get through hard times and become a better person. And that's my life purpose and calling. And also to write this book, it was my life purpose and calling. San Gabriel Valley Girl, Fighting to Be Me Again. That's the book. And I actually just narrated the audio version of my book, and it's available on iTunes and Audible. And I finished that in January, about 3 months ago. And so, and a lot of people think that have read my book, they listen to the audio, they think the audio version is better because it's me reading it, and they say that because I really got into it. It was a wonderful experience. And so that's so if you want to be inspired and much more, and I would recommend my book, San Gabriel Valley Girl, Fighting to Be Me Again.
Thank you, Rosemary. Appreciate that. And Rosemary, one last question about the retreat. What was some of the most special moments that you can recall that really stood out top of mind from the retreat? Was it meeting Mark, or like what was some moments that you want to share with us? Maybe one or two.
Um, One of them was meeting Mark, and when we were all outside and taking the group pictures, um, you know, Mark was around there, and when we were walking back inside or we were walking back to the house, he was, I told him about my book, and then I remember the first question he asked me is, "Oh, did you die?" And I was like, "Yes, I did die. All it's in there." I don't. And he was just very personable and nice. And he asked me who my favorite author was, and we talked a little bit. And then the next second moment was meeting his wife. Except I didn't know that was his wife. I was just in the kitchen, and it was me and I believe Michael. Um, and we were talking to her, and we were talking about a few things. They were talking about COVID and masks and my grandma and just different things. And then I realized later that that was his wife. And then I was like, oh, so I had two, personal conversations with each one of them, and I guess they were married. And then meeting you was wonderful. I really enjoyed meeting you, and we all got together at dinner time, and Mark Victor Hansen had moved my chair to fit into you and another girl because I was on the other table, and it was just really wonderful, and it was a beautiful mansion, and it was just all the people were just so friendly, and I met people there that I definitely will be closer to from and more and friends for hopefully forevermore.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Do you think it was worth the value though? Having all those people there.
I do. I do. I do. And again, coming from someone who was pretty much in isolation for 3 years, um, it was it felt like I felt like I was at Disneyland. No. I do go to Disneyland though often because I have a pass. Um but really being around people and speaking to them and talking to them, it felt great, and I very much appreciated it, and it was worth the value.
Thank you, Rosemary. Last question on the retreat. So we plan on having more of these retreats in the future, actually, 2 or 3 times a year or more. The next one coming up, hopefully in Utah this summer. So what's your thoughts? Would you go to another retreat? Did you like it that much? Did you go to another one?
Yes, I would go to another retreat, and it would be fun, and maybe some of the same people would go, and maybe some new people would go, but I would definitely go again, and hope in another state this time. So
Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. We're trying to basically try to create different environments every time, slightly different effects, so that it comes out to constantly want to improve, but like so that it's just a little bit more inspiring from a different angle, from a different
mhm.
scenery, different environment. So
Yeah.
with that said, last question. I asked this as a bonus question because I know you have experience with this. So you met me on Clubhouse. I mean, you've been on my Friday night masterclass stages where I bring all these big name speakers there. What's your thoughts on that? What do you think about the Friday night rooms?
Um, I think the Friday night rooms are fabulous, and very informative and fun. And it's fun hearing who you have as a guest, and just being part of that whole awesome, positive, informative vibe.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rosemary. Any last minute thoughts or before we conclude out? I'm sorry, it's getting late.
Well, I just would like to say that I'm very happy that I have met you, and I am looking forward to but the future holds. And again, yeah, and there we go. That's pretty much it. And sending positive energy to everybody watching. And that's what I like to say.
Thank you, Rosemary. Where's your website? Where can people find out more information about you? Do you have a website?
I have a YouTube channel, San Gabriel Valley Girl, and I have two Instagram accounts. One that's pure positive energy, SGV Girl 143, and then I have a personal one that's more of familial thing about the family and stuff, but also positive, Rose Petal 2278, and yes, and you could find my book in most bookstores. And
Amazon,
I
right?
promise you, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target, Walmart. It's at a lot of bookstores. It's available, and so I promise your life will never be the same if you do choose to read my book again. And I would love to know your thoughts.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. I appreciate you being a great guest today. Folks, Dr. Anthony Criniti IV here, also known as Dr. Finance. You've been watching the Dr. Finance Live podcast special Mastermind retreat edition of all our amazing attendees at our last event last month in March 2023, Paradise Valley, Arizona, a $10 million mansion with people like Mark Victor Hansen, Sharon Lecter. This website is the website where you'll find out more information, folks, drfinance.info. We will be blasting this video out to YouTube and 20 plus major podcast directories. If you want to learn about finance, folks, that's where I excel at, hopefully. Dr. Finance, my first book. These are like the bloopers, right? Like The Necessity of Finance. This is what happens when you do an interview at 7:30 at night. All right. So The Necessity of Finance, I wrote that for my finance students about 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, actually. And then my second book was The Most Important Lessons in Economics and Finance. This was for all the retreat folks like Rosemary. I gave it out as a free gift. And then, but my last book, The Survival of the Richest, is my conclusion. So check that out, check them all out, and check out Rosemary's book as well. Thank you, folks. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.